Morning from Morecambe, where today I'm visiting all the right lines, but not necessarily in the right order. No disrespect, hey Eric. Quick bit of breakfast, and we're on our way again. We begin our journey today outside Morecambe Promenade, one of the town's two big stations that once stood cheek by jowl. Sadly to be replaced by this travesty in the mid-90s. We've got a little bit of a complicated exit to make from Morecambe as we peel away off from alongside the current diesel route and its blue and white occupants, seemingly not in attendance at the moment. Our first bridge of the day already, but we're not quite on the old line yet. Just a little plod along further and we cross over another single track. This is a single line connection to Heysham Port from Morecambe. More on that in a bit. Hitting the other side and we reach our route along the former line to Lancaster Green Ayre. Although from here the air looks somewhat more grey than green. So now we're on the right tracks at last. It's history time. The line itself opened in stages from 1846, connecting Leeds and Skipton with Lancaster, Morecambe and also Heysham, enabling people to transfer between trains and ferries to and from Belfast. Trains landing at Lancaster used Green Ayre, the city's second biggest station, based on the south bank of the River Lune. The only intermediate station on this part was Scale Hall, about 2 miles east of Morecambe. We'll be getting to that bit later on. This just next to me here is a former connection line to Heysham Port from Lancaster, closed with the rest of this line I'm walking on at the moment. We'll cover the dates in a bit. The Morecambe and Heysham to Lancaster line was steam operated till 1908 when it was electrified as a pioneering movement, making it the first high voltage overhead electrified line in the UK. Its voltage was just over 6,500 volts AC. The short 4-mile network was a success and also connected with Lancaster Castle, the city's largest station, by a short viaduct on the side of the Lune. The service used sets of 3 carriage trains, made partly in Germany and partly in America, and also made from converted steam train carriages in some cases. Nice pair of old posts there. Not sure if they came new with the houses behind them. Perhaps intended decoration. Either way, a very welcome touch. Surprisingly, the electric service ended in 1951 and steam took back over again briefly, only to be reinstated 2 years later with brand new 3 carriage trains. Which I can only assume wouldn't have fitted under this other modern day invasion we're walking through right now. As we approach another real railway bridge, we have the first of two pieces of remaining electrification evidence. Here, as we go underneath Ovangle Road, are two of the former electrification wiring supports. I'm not sure if it's the pre-1951 era or the post-1952 era, but they look to have had a repaint. And just to prove I never swindle my viewers, I'll give you the other side as well. Getting quite closer towards the main centrepiece now. Amidst all these lovely little white flowers decorating the way at either side. And just coming along here, we finally make it to Scale Hall, the single intermediate station on this little journey. And unlike the Rowntree one at York the other day, we have a little bit of station to look at. Right next to me here is one of the remaining concrete platform supports from Scale Hall station. Probably only surviving because there's a footpath around it. Unfortunately, less so survives of the other platform. But if we do quickly pop over that side, there is still something else. The one surviving electrification support mast on the whole Morecambe to Lancaster Green Air Railway route. Anyway, back to the current again. Ho ho ho, and we have to be heading on our way because we've still got a little bit of the line to go. As we get on closer to Lancaster, we finally come alongside the River Lune, which is just on our right through the trees here. We also encounter the current West Coast Main Line for the first and only time on this trip. That lovely bridge over there, emerging from Lancaster Castle, or simply Lancaster Station now, crossing right over us before proceeding on its way to Carlisle and eventually Scotland. Oh, and our first actual train of the whole video. Let's stroll slowly under this baby and savour all that beautiful reinforcement ironwork up above us. Apologies for that CCTV camera in the way there. That's allowed in, it's railway related. As we peel off slightly from the course of the actual railway route and descenter alongside the River Lune, we've still got one real treat left. This is the Greyhound Bridge, which once took arriving trains straight over the River Lune and into Lancaster Green Air Station right behind it. When the line finally closed in 1976, the bridge was repurposed as a road traffic route to Morecambe, though it retains a lot of its architectural railway charm. Also right behind me here is a tidy little viaduct which I mentioned earlier, connected both of Lancaster's two stations. Trains from Lancaster Castle came round this short cutting here, which, like the rest of the line, is now a bike path. Over this little bridge. And along this lovely viaduct. As you can probably tell by the width, it was only a single track line. may be likely that there are only a few infrequent connecting trains between the two stations per day. The incline is around 30 or 40, I think. The incline here continues to be noticeable as we get on towards Green Ayre station. It also gives a greatly improved view of Greyhound Bridge as well. On our right now, where this Sainsbury's supermarket is a site of former engine sheds and sidings of Green Ayre station. Again, the current stonework reflects a historical past, even if it's just replicating it. Imagine that trains and locos and wagons once lined up where all these cars and delivery vans now do. We actually have a surviving portion of the station yard wall here, lying discreetly at the end of the Sainsbury's car park. We return to the main route for one last teeny little bit as we reach the end of the line for today. And here, before you know it, we have it straight in front of us. Because nestling beneath the shade of the tree and this buttercup infested lawn is what remains of Lancaster Green Ayre station. The edging stones still appear to be in remarkable stead. I reckon there's at least a clean carriage's worth of platform here. The station closed in 1966 to passengers and then in 1976 to goods, and was demolished pretty soon after. We obviously couldn't get away without showing this last little treasure though. This former yard crane was originally from Hornby Station, further on the line towards Skipton, and now resides at Green Ayre as a commemoration to Lancashire's long treasured railway past. Anyway, thanks for joining me on today's journey. I've got to be heading back to Lancaster Castle again now to get the train home. Don't get left behind on the platform. Board at carriage, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next trip. Bye.